Myelinated neurons are just like normal neurons, but they're jacked up, which makes them transfer impulses much faster than a normal neuron. Let's look at the structure of a myelinated neuron and how it compares to a normal unmyelinated neuron. A normal neuron has this long part called an axon. Normally, there's nothing covering this axon, but in myelinated neurons, we have this extra layer covering the axon called a myelin sheath. As you can see, this myelin sheath is made up of a thick layer of lipids and proteins with gaps in it covering the whole length of the axon. Each unit of this myelin sheath is called a Schwann cell. These Schwann cells are insulators of electrical impulses, so impulses cannot really pass through a Schwann cell. The gap between each Schwann cell and the next is called a node of Ranvier. So a myelin sheath is nothing but many Schwann cells covering a normal neuron with many gaps in between them called nodes of Ranvier. But how does this myelin sheath make the transmission of impulses any faster? Well, impulses are nothing but action potentials moving along an axon. In a normal neuron, these action potentials move in one direction and have to make their way across the whole axon to reach the end of the neuron. But in a myelinated neuron, since the action potential cannot pass directly through a Schwann cell, it has to literally jump over each Schwann cell until it reaches the end. Jumping from one node of Ranvier to the next saves so much time, as the action potential only needs to pass through the nodes of Ranvier and not the whole length of the neuron. This is called saltatory conduction. So in other words, it's like a race between two athletes where one is walking towards the finish line and the other has jump boots that allows them to jump so high and cover so much ground towards the finish line. It's just not fair.